Coming up next, it was one of the heaviest missions in the Vietnam War. Danny Glover stars in Operation Dumbo Drop on Disney. Coming up next, for the first time on television, James and the Giant Peach, right here on Disney.
Coming up next, it's Kenneth Branagh and Emma Thompson together with an all-star cast in Much Ado About Nothing, followed by Ingrid, right here on Disney. Coming up next, you think you have family problems? Well, check out The Monkey's Uncle, followed by Animal Crackers, right here on Disney.
Coming up next, it's the Jurassic Adventure, The Land Before Time 2, The Great Valley Adventure, right here on Disney.
Coming up next, dinosaurs are struggling for survival in The Land Before Time 3, Time of the Great Giving, on Disney. Coming up next, two creature features. First, Sting leads an all-star cast in Dune. Then go on Monster Patrol with Jason and the Argonauts on Disney. Coming up next, the chimps are still in charge with more sci-fi adventure to come in Life, Liberty, and Pursuit on the Planet of the Apes. Next here on Disney. Coming up next, two young girls are held captive by an evil woman who commands a pack of vicious wolves. The Wolves of Willoughby Chase. Next here on Disney. Coming up next, a special encore presentation of a Disney Channel original movie, Northern Lights, followed by Mark Twain's classic, The Adventures of Huck Finn, here on Disney. Coming up next, it's a Shaggy Dog double feature, starting with The Return of the Shaggy Dog. Then Man's Best Friend is added again in the 90s version of the Shaggy Dog, here on Disney.
Hockey is a tough sport, especially when you're smaller, slower, and not as good as the other team. The Ducks return in D3, The Mighty Ducks, coming up next here on Disney. Next up, it's a jolly holiday when Julie Andrews stars as Mary Poppins. Then we officially say so long to summer with Haley Mills in Summer Magic inside Walt Disney.
There's the Loch Ness Monster, Monster Trucks, and now there's Step Monster. Then stay tuned for Monster Go Home. It's all coming up next right here on Disney. Coming up next, giant insects don't stand a chance when Godzilla and his #1 son join forces in Son of Godzilla, next here on Disney. Coming up next, inside Walt Disney, it's the cartoon with a samba beat, Saludos Amigos. Then stay tuned for the Three Caballeros, right here on Disney. Coming up next, inside Walt Disney, it's the Mickey Mouse Club. Then stay tuned for Bon Voyage. It's all coming up right here on Disney. Coming up next inside Walt Disney, I Hate Goodbyes. Bon Voyage sounds so much better. Then stay tuned for Splash 2, right here on Disney. Coming up next inside Walt Disney, it's Walt Disney Presents Where Do the Stories Come From? Then stay tuned for Son of Flubber, right here on Disney. Coming up next inside Walt Disney, it's Son of Flubber. Then stay tuned for The Truth About Mother Goose, right here on Disney. Coming up next inside Walt Disney, watch The Truth About Mother Goose. Then catch a classic episode of Zorro, right here on Disney. Coming up next inside Walt Disney, it's a classic episode of the Mickey Mouse Club. Then stay tuned for The Misadventures of Merlin Jones, right here on Disney. Coming up next inside Walt Disney, it's The Misadventures of Merlin Jones. Then stay tuned for Masterpiece Theater, right here on Disney. The door of Walt Disney is open, so come on in. Up next, it's Swiss Family Robinson. Then stay tuned for Zorro, right here on Disney. Coming up next inside Walt Disney, it's a classic episode of Zorro. Then stay tuned for Spin and Marty, right here on Disney. Up next, it's Spin and Marty, followed by Walt Disney's classic Mary Poppins. Disney classics are found inside Walt Disney. The door of Walt Disney is now open, so come on in. Next, Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke star in Mary Poppins. Then stay tuned for Walt Disney's classic Old Yeller. Up next, it's Walt Disney's classic Old Yeller. Then stay tuned for the Ink and Paint Club. Disney classics are found inside Walt Disney. Do you love classic Disney animation? Join the club, the Ink and Paint Club, that is. It's coming up next inside Walt Disney. Next, stay tuned for Arizona Sheepdog, followed by the $1 Million Duck, right here inside Walt Disney. Coming up next, it's Walt Disney Presents Holiday Time at Disneyland. Then stay tuned for a classic episode of Zorro, right here inside Walt Disney. Up next, it's Walt Disney Presents El Fego Baca, Attorney at Law. Then stay tuned for a classic episode of Zorro, right here inside Walt Disney. Next inside Walt Disney, it's Return from Witch Mountain. Then stay tuned for Walt Disney's Oscar-nominated Mysteries of the Deep, only on Disney. Next, it's a touchdown in Walt Disney Presents Moochie of Pop Warner Football from Ticonderoga to Disneyland. Then it's Zorro, inside Walt Disney. Coming up next inside Walt Disney, it's a classic episode of Zorro. Then stay tuned for the Mickey Mouse Club, right here on Disney. Don't go away, Mouseketeers. Up next, it's the Mickey Mouse Club. Then there's never a dull moment for Dick Van Dyke. It's all here inside Walt Disney. The door of Walt Disney is now open, so come on in. Next, it's Walt Disney Presents Baseball Fever. Then it's that masked man himself, Zorro, here on Disney. Next, some of your favorite Mouseketeers star in Walt Disney Presents Westward Ho the Wagon's White Man's Medicine. Then it's Zorro, here inside Walt Disney. Up next, get ready, Mouseketeers, it's the Mickey Mouse Club. Then there's Space Kids taking a break on Earth in Return from Witch Mountain, here inside Walt Disney. Up next, it's the Disney favorite Return from Witch Mountain. Then take a journey through ice and snow in Alaskan Sled Dog, here inside Walt Disney. Next on Disney, a young dog trainer goes in search of his father in Alaskan Sled Dog. Then it's the world's greatest athlete, here inside Walt Disney. Up next, Tim Conway stars in the world's greatest athlete. Then climb to new heights with Mickey and the Beanstalk, here inside Walt Disney. Next, it's Noah's Ark. Then see what happens when a mother and daughter magically trade places in Freaky Friday, here inside Walt Disney. Up next inside Walt Disney, Jodie Foster stars in Freaky Friday. Then it's a home on the range in the classic cartoon, Pecos Bill, here on Disney. Up next, it's a double dose of classic cartoons inside Walt Disney. First, it's the cowboy antics of Pecos Bill. Then it's the Ink and Paint Club, only on Disney. Do you love classic Disney animation? Join the club, the Ink and Paint Club, when we take a look inside Walt Disney. It's coming up next, right here on Disney. The door to Walt Disney is now open with a special 25th anniversary edition of Bedknobs and Broomsticks. Then it's the Ink and Paint Club, right here on Disney. You never know what you might find inside Walt Disney. Coming up next, it's Nature's Strangest Creatures. Then it's Muppet Treasure Island, right here on Disney. Coming up next inside Walt Disney, go under the sea to a submerged reef in the Mysteries of the Deep. Then it's the Ink and Paint Club, right here on Disney. Coming up next inside Walt Disney, join Harvey Korman in a race to Brazil in Herbie Goes Bananas. Then it's the Mouse Factory, right here on Disney. Coming up next inside Walt Disney, it's the world's greatest athlete. Then it's classic Disney animation in the Ink and Paint Club, right here inside Walt Disney. Ready for some Disney favorites? Up next, it's the last flight of Noah's Ark. Then it's classic Disney animation in the Ink and Paint Club, right here inside Walt Disney. In order to provide and maintain the best quality television broadcast signal, Disney Channel will be interrupting programming at this time for 1 hour. Please excuse the inconvenience. Coming up next inside Walt Disney, it's the North Avenue Irregulars. Then it's life on the edge of an inline skate in Disney's original movie, Brink, right here on Disney. Coming up next inside Walt Disney, catch a classic episode of Zorro. Then stay tuned for Spin and Marty. It's all coming up right here on Disney. Coming up next inside Walt Disney, it's the first and only true life fantasy, Perry. Follow the life and adventures of Perry the Pine Squirrel, right here inside Walt Disney. Up next, follow two fun-loving guys in Walt Disney Presents Two Happy Amigos. Then the Mystery Man rides again in Zorro, right here inside Walt Disney. Up next, gather around the campfire for the classic camp tales of Spin and Marty. Then it's the $1 Million Duck, right here inside Walt Disney. Up next, dust off your mouse ears. It's the Mickey Mouse Club. Then it's fun and fancy-free right here inside Walt Disney. Coming up next, summer camp will never be the same after Spin and Marty. Then it's Freaky Friday, right here inside Walt Disney. Next inside Walt Disney, dust off your mouse ears for the Mickey Mouse Club. Then it's the musical comedy Pete's Dragon, right here on Disney. Next, to dust off your mouse ears, it's the Mickey Mouse Club. Then see Don Knotts in the Old West comedy Hot Lead and Cold Feet, right here inside Walt Disney. Coming up next, wiggle your ears like good Mouseketeers for the Mickey Mouse Club. Then it's the Disney True Life Adventure, Perry, right here inside Walt Disney. Step inside Walt Disney for the Mickey Mouse Club. Then drive south of the border for Herbie Goes Bananas, right here on Disney. Step inside Walt Disney for the Mickey Mouse Club. Then Tommy Kirk and Annette Funicello star in The Monkey's Uncle, right here on Disney. Coming up next inside Walt Disney, it's the Mickey Mouse Club. Then it's man's best friend at his finest in Old Yeller, right here on Disney. Coming up next, wiggle your ears for the Mickey Mouse Club. Then it's the last flight of Noah's Ark, right here inside Walt Disney. Coming up next, it's the Mickey Mouse Club. Then it's Dean Jones and Kurt Russell in The Horse in the Gray Flannel Suit, right here inside Walt Disney. Coming up next, it's the Mickey Mouse Club. Then it's Disney's animated classic Alice in Wonderland, right here inside Walt Disney. Coming up next inside Walt Disney, he's the best doggone dog in the world. He's Old Yeller. Then it's the Ink and Paint Club, right here on Disney. Next inside Walt Disney, Tom Selleck and Ted Danson get to test drive fatherhood in Three Men and a Baby. Then it's Masterpiece Theater, right here on Disney. Coming up next, a comic book artist gets involved in real-life espionage in Condor Man. Then it's the Ink and Paint Club right here inside Walt Disney. Step inside Walt Disney for the Ink and Paint Club. Then follow the mouse in the red shorts to Mickey's Mouse Tracks right here on Disney. Next inside Walt Disney, a call into outer space gets answered in the Disney original movie Can of Worms. Then it's the Goofy Adventure Story right here on Disney. Next inside Walt Disney, it's Walt Disney Presents Moochie of Pop Warner Football from Ticonderoga to Disneyland. Then it's Zorro right here on Disney. Coming up next inside Walt Disney, get ready for the Mickey Mouse Club. Then Jodie Foster is having one Freaky Friday right here on Disney. Coming up next inside Walt Disney, a mother and daughter switch places making this one Freaky Friday. Then it's Dennis Quaid in The Parent Trap right here on Disney. Next inside Walt Disney, a New England trapper gets down with some migrating geese in those Callaways. Then it's Oliver and Company right here on Disney. Next inside Walt Disney, Annette Funicello joins the Masked Avenger in Zorro, the Postponed Wedding. Then it's Walt Disney Presents the Yellowstone story Bear Country right here on Disney. Next inside Walt Disney, it's Walt Disney Presents the Yellowstone story Bear Country. Then it's Fred MacMurray in Son of Flubber right here on Disney. Next, Walt Disney springs ahead with Fred MacMurray in Son of Flubber. Then bounce back with Robin Williams in the 1997 Disney hit Flubber right here on Disney. Coming up next, step inside Walt Disney and join the club that's twice as nice. It's back-to-back episodes of the new Mickey Mouse Club right here on Disney. Next inside Walt Disney, join the gang for the new Mickey Mouse Club. Then no one tangles with this cougar in Walt Disney Presents Return of the Big Cat right here on Disney. Next inside Walt Disney, a cougar threatens the lives of this family in Walt Disney Presents Return of the Big Cat. Then it's the $1 Million Duck right here on Disney. It always pays to watch Walt Disney. Coming up next, strike it rich with the $1 Million Duck. Then blast off with the Cat from Outer Space right here on Disney. Coming up next inside Walt Disney, this cat is out of this world. He's the Cat from Outer Space. Then join the gang for the new Mickey Mouse Club right here on Disney. Next, Walt Disney goes on holiday when Walt Disney Presents On Vacation with Mickey Mouse and Friends. Then it's the Moon Spinners right here on Disney. Next inside Walt Disney, get ready to ride for justice with the Masked Avenger Zorro. Then put on your mouse ears for the Mickey Mouse Club right here on Disney. Coming up next inside Walt Disney, these church ladies are determined to chase the mob out of town in the North Avenue Irregulars. Then it's Zorro right here on Disney. Next inside Walt Disney, get ready for the Mickey Mouse Club. Then join Grandpappy Coyote as he spins a tale in Walt Disney Presents The Coyote's Lament on Disney. Next inside Walt Disney, spend Christmas Eve with Grandpappy Coyote when Walt Disney presents The Coyote's Lament. Then it's Lieutenant Robin Crusoe USN on Disney. Next inside Walt Disney, join Dick Van Dyke in Lieutenant Robin Crusoe USN. Then it's Walt Disney presents El Fago Baca, The 9 Lives of El Fago Baca on Disney. Next up inside Walt Disney, it's Walt Disney presents Texas John Slaughter, Ambush at Laredo. Then it's the Ink and Paint Club on Disney. Next up inside Walt Disney, put on your mouse ears for the Mickey Mouse Club. Then Walt Disney presents Ballerina Part 2 right here on Disney. Coming up next inside Walt Disney, take the incredible journey. Then watch Walt Disney presents Deacon, the High Noon Dog right here on Disney. Coming up next inside Walt Disney, it's Walt Disney presents Deacon, the High Noon Dog. Then Walt Disney presents Smoke right here on Disney. Next inside Walt Disney, put on your mouse ears for the Mickey Mouse Club. Then it's Walt Disney presents Menace on the Mountain on Disney. Next inside Walt Disney, it's Mousterpiece Theater. Then it's Walt Disney presents Texas John Slaughter, Apache Friendship on Disney. Next inside Walt Disney, get ready for a goofy time with the Goofy Adventure Story. Then stay tuned for Madeline on Disney. Coming up next inside Walt Disney, Out of the Night When the Full Moon is Bright, ride Zorro. Then put a log on the campfire for Spin and Marty, right here on Disney. Next inside Walt Disney, it's Walt Disney presents Texas John Slaughter, Kentucky Gunslick. Then it's the Ink and Paint Club on Disney. Coming up next inside Walt Disney, ride for justice with the Masked Avenger Zorro. Then put on your mouse ears for the Mickey Mouse Club right here on Disney. Next inside Walt Disney, get out the garlic for Walt Disney presents The Mystery in Dracula's Castle. Then it's the Moon Spinners on Disney. Next inside Walt Disney, it's the man behind the mask, Zorro. Then it's the Mickey Mouse Club on Disney. Next inside Walt Disney, hey there, hi there, ho there, it's the Mickey Mouse Club. Then it's Walt Disney Presents on Disney. Next inside Walt Disney, don't miss these Disney classics with back-to-back episodes of Walt Disney Presents on Disney. Next inside Walt Disney, don't miss Disney classics with Walt Disney Presents. Then it's the Ink and Paint Club on Disney. Next inside Walt Disney, it's the Ink and Paint Club. Then stay tuned for The Little Mermaid on Disney. Next inside Walt Disney, check out Disney Classics with Walt Disney Presents. Then stick around for The Monkey's Uncle on Disney. Next inside Walt Disney, it's The Monkey's Uncle. Then check out Disney Classics with Walt Disney Presents on Disney.
Stick around, there's more Zorro coming up next. Then it's the new adventures of Winnie the Pooh.